Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another crypto video. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Hedera and Hbar. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. Today is a beautiful day, it is a beautiful Saturday, and I hope everybody is enjoying it. I know that right now we are seeing some nice green throughout the market. We're seeing some altcoins starting to pop a little bit, more so those OG legacy assets that I've talked about for a while. Zcash is pumping. Dash is also moving. These are assets that I've told you guys to continue to watch for, because a lot of those OG legacy gems, like even Bitcoin Cash, are the last ones to do some major runs, but they are starting to kind of move a little bit, which is very good to see. I'm not saying that we're in the end of this bull run or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, currently I am watching a lot of things that are factoring into the idea of these altcoins really starting to make their major moves. Now, with Hedera, or Hbar if you will, it is up about 2.5%, 2.62 technically. Nothing too crazy there in terms of price action. I'm not going to get excited on Hbar's price action until we are above 35 cents. But I will say this: when we are watching Bitcoin, I have been watching Bitcoin closely this entire week. I've been watching Ethereum as well. For the most part, it looks like the entire markets did a little bit of a reset. More so, it looks like the entire market is kind of back into that October timeframe before we went really parabolic during 2021. So I'm actually excited to watch the things unfold throughout this market within the next coming days, weeks, and even months ahead. I've talked to you guys about how we could basically have this massive bull run pattern repeated from 2017, 2018, and I'm going to go more in depth on that later on in another video. But for the most part, I do want to talk to you guys about some exciting things happening within the Hedera ecosystem. So let's actually move forward. So although price action on Hedera hasn't been the greatest, we do see reasons to be, of course, excited about Hedera. Shout out to Barbarian. But implementation of permissionless reward staking system coming to Hedera. $100 million sustainable impact fund announced by, of course, Hedera, or Hbar Foundation, sorry. And with MasterCard, they basically been, interested within use cases and things like that. We've discussed this. A lot of these payment processors, they're very interested into distributed ledger technology, because as they scale, it costs them a ton of money. So these assets will definitely help, boost, one, efficiencies, but also profitability. And of course, step function increase in Hbar transactions per second. Yes, delayed, but still in play. There's still a lot of things happening within the Hedera ecosystem. I'm not going to sit here and say that Hbar is one of the best investments since the dawn of time. But I'm going to say right now, when we are talking about Hbar, patience will be rewarded. And I'm telling you guys that right now, when we are talking about what's happening within this entire market, it is being pushed towards the idea of, one, sustainability, two, utility, and three, we're looking at the efficiencies behind these networks. And we know that Hedera is one of the most incredible, networks right now within this space. One, being the most utilized DLT, and two, it focused on some major high tier targets in terms of the enterprise grade use cases. So in my mind, at the end of the day, Hbar will increase greatly in value. We just have to be a little bit more patient. Now, we also see here those who understand that Hbar is a long-term play and have the patience will be rewarded like crazy, and will be supporting a network that becomes the next big thing in Web 3.0, as Apple and Google were the Web 2.0. Now, when we are talking about the bigger picture here, it is the idea that you need to zoom out, because although everyone is waiting for major gains on Hbar, there we go. You got to realize that, Hedera also increased greatly in price already. I mean, there's a lot of individuals that are currently up over 10x at these current prices. And I know that that's not everyone. Like, if we're looking back here on time, like, if you were an investor into Hbar during like the 2020 timeframe, which again, I do believe that we are basically in this area right now in this entire market, we're looking at like over 10x gains, 20x gains from these current levels, which a 20x gain from here would bring us to about $4, which is perfectly right between the $3 to $6 range that I've been calling for a very long time. And yes, those levels are still in play. Those levels have not changed at all. And if we're talking about 10 to 20x from our current levels, those are perfect levels to really look at, because when we're talking about like these 2 to 3 cent zones, we did like about a 10 to 15x from those areas to get to our all-time highs. So just pay attention to what is happening within the structure of this market, but also you need to zoom out. You need to look at the bigger picture here because I believe everyone in this game is looking for short-term gratification, and I think that that is the biggest problem within this area as well. I mean, like everyone was calling for Bitcoin to be very bearish, but again, when you look at the bigger view here, I mean, look at how bullish this chart looks. I mean, right now, I would say we are building this nice support. We're still at a higher low compared to the summertime, and it looks like we are ready to go on that next major run. As soon as we break over that like 42.6K zone, I would say that it's validated that we are going to go much, much higher on Bitcoin. Now, also, we do see here in February, we announced that Ubisoft had joined the Hedera Governing Council and set up a Hedera dedicated fast track into the Ubisoft Entrepreneurs Lab. Upon announcement, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, blockchain technical director at the Ubisoft Strategic Innovation Lab said the Hedera network offers a promising take on this technology, DOT, notably through its scalability, energy efficiency, and innovative consensus mechanism. And that's what I'm saying. Like, look at where the focus point is on a lot of these major networks. And of course, it is clear that DOT has a pivotal role to play in the future of gaming, with Hedera standing out amongst the crowd as one of the greatest networks for this use case. We're very excited for the future of this partnership with Ubisoft. If you're a gaming developer or entrepreneur looking to leverage the high speed, security, and stability of the Hedera network, apply for the funding with us today. And I want to put a little bit of light on a lot of these major companies, like for example, like Ubisoft, right? We're talking more so about gaming, right? So let's actually go to the customization, or no, sorry. I meant to go to the categories here. So let me go to filters. So when we are talking about these industries in terms of like the gaming market, I think that we're very early within the gaming market for crypto. I think that we haven't even really seen some major, I would say innovation in this area. There's a few that have made incredible gains. Like for example, like Gala's up crazy. I know the Sandbox did some major moves. Axie Infinity as well. A lot of these assets, a lot of these major projects within this area of gaming, didn't really do too much. Like, they're like kind of bare minimum use cases for the most part, but they do, offer a ton of ROI value. I mean, like look at Gala for an example, right? 165,000% of an increase in price since a year ago. All right, it's been, and this is technically it's like a year and like 3 months now. But that's what I'm talking about. Like when you're looking at a lot of these assets and a lot of these main players within this area, for an example, with gaming, I mean, look at the bigger picture here. It's massive. This area is ripe for disruption. Even Sandbox, right? We've talked about the Sandbox before. This is only up 11,000%, but the ROI value here is actually 38.6K. That is absolutely massive. And last but not least, of course, Axie Infinity. Talked to you guys about Axie Infinity in the past many times. Guys, 42,000, almost 43,000% of an increase in value in 1 year. These massive altcoins go crazy when, they announce a massive innovation, especially within these areas. I mean, gaming and the metaverse and things like that, I don't think that they're massive, like when we're talking about things that shine in this market, we know that the major money use cases are the ones that really get the spotlight, but you got to look at the other areas of expertise within these areas as well, in terms of gaming and things like that. Like those categories don't get a lot of spotlight, but they should, because they also offer massive ROI. And of course, huge upcoming Hedera use cases, 2 new gaming ecosystem partners, 2 esports platforms, luxury brands, B2B player releasing a range of NFTs, news on the Ubisoft partnership, and that's just the Hbar Consumer Engagement and Metaverse Fund. Thanks for the shout out. And if you guys did miss this, Basically, this is the Director of Consumer Engagement Fund from the Hbar Foundation, talking about everything that is happening within this ecosystem. There is so much more to look forward to. I want you all to realize what is happening and what is being built right now within this ecosystem. There is so much stuff happening, and there's so much new things, coming to the Hedera ecosystem as well, and I'm just very excited for it. And of course, last but not least, talking about shiny use cases, here we have it. So it can lead to an 80% reduction in cost. If you look at some of the next gen blockchain capabilities that's available, they can do transactions at a fraction of a penny. So that's how scalable they are. And of course, this is the standard bank ZA on bond markets. We will provide the platform and work with blockchain foundations and very specific protocols, but it's not going to be like a private permission blockchain where Standard Bank ZA provides the service, which means anyone could issue their bonds on this platform. It brings a lot of trust. You don't have to check 6 or 7 different systems to make sure the bond is valid, accurate, or complete on every different system that's in that value chain. It all becomes one ledger where all the data, the buyer and the seller can see it. You can access Hedera, Hyperledger Fabric, Algorand, Cosmos. There's many, many more. I'm not biased. I just mentioned the first ones that came up in my mind. You can contact me at Standard Bank. I'm really happy to expose people to some of these companies. And of course, Standard Bank is using Hedera Hashgraph to develop its system. Financial markets processes millions of trades each day, and Hedera can efficiently function at such high volumes. This is why I'm telling you guys, when we're talking about the future of finance, we're talking about, the future of just all the money, right? All of the money is the biggest point here, but I want you guys to really focus on what is happening here. This is massive disruptions in terms of just transaction cost, transaction speed. All of this comes back to one thing. Okay, I talked to you guys about XRP a lot. I talked to you guys about Hbar a lot. I talked to you guys about crypto in general. But ultimately, what we are seeing right now is a massive transition and revolution within the financial sector. More so focusing on these banks, focusing on these networks that are offering these banks massive, efficiencies. In terms of even Visa and things like that, I've talked to you guys about MasterCard and Visa basically utilizing DOT technology. The reason why this stuff is so, hard to ignore, these companies can no longer say, yeah, whatever, crypto is this, what crypto is that. All it takes is one player. One player. For an example, if we're talking about all banks, right? All it takes is for one major banking, branch, right? We'll talk about just like a bank that has 1,000+ branches under its belt, right? All it takes is that one bank to utilize this technology, truly see, the efficiencies and the capabilities of this technology, and soon all of them will be running to, of course, crypto tech. Because once you do see the possibilities and the potential behind this technology, it is far too big to ignore. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.